In this video, we will demonstrate how to build an environment to publish our services using Docker. In this demonstration, we will be using a different approach where we try to create a customized Docker environment or a customized Docker image which we can use to deploy any Java-based application or services in which we can deploy a web container. We will be using Tomcat as a web container. Let's begin by creating a folder first. Using the command prompt, we will run the command mkdir and specify the name of the folder as Docker Publisher. We will then access this newly created folder, and within this folder, we will be creating a new Docker file. We have already created one, so let's explore the entries in this Docker file. We have specified from Ubuntu since we want to use Ubuntu as the base image. We have also specified a maintainer as it is highly recommended as a good practice to specify a maintainer. Then we have added the command run apt-get update to update the image. We have also added another command run apt-get install wget since we want to install wget so any stakeholder can create a container and call wget and pass the URL to deploy services. We need to ensure that we are installing wget as well in case our operating system doesn't provide a pre-installed wget. We are specifying the volume to attach, and we are pointing to the volume to the folder web app since this is the folder that Tomcat will treat as an installer or a deployable folder. Finally, we are switching the work directory to ensure that whenever we get wget, they are directly stored in the web app folder. Now that we have explored this Docker file, let's go ahead and save it in the recently created folder Docker Publisher folder. Since we used a notepad to create the Docker file, it is being saved as a text file. When we run the command dir, we observe that the Docker file is in the form of a text file. Now we need to rename it to change the file format. So we will run rename dockerfile.txt to Dockerfile without any extension. We now have a Docker file that can be executed to build images. The next task is to run this Docker file. We will use the command docker build -t, followed by the intended name of the image. We can specify any name of our choice. We will then add a dot to ensure that it runs Docker file which is present in the current folder. So it's executing sequentially, started at the first step, adding maintainer, running apt-get update, and wget install. Since the Ubuntu images were downloaded earlier, it took little time to execute the first 4 steps. Now in case we are using Ubuntu as the base image or downloading Ubuntu for the first time,